Hey, what is up guys, my name is Austin and today we are going to be going over the iPhone 6 Plus. The iPhone 6 Plus released in 2013 alongside the regular iPhone 6, and it took the tech community and normal consumers by storm. It introduced a brand new style of phone that we still see today in Apple phones, and it's reckoned to be one of the best designs ever by Apple. This was one of the biggest phones of the time, and by today's standards it doesn't really seem too big, which is kind of interesting to see, but you can see the size difference between the iPhone 6 Plus and the iPhone 5. It's a pretty big jump. It's about 3/4 of the size, which is like insane. And it's a pretty big phone considering this is what we had with Samsung at the time. I don't have a Note 4, but whatever. This was one of the thinnest phones on the market, and you can see, I'll tell you what the problem was in that. So Apple thought that what would become the biggest trend is how thin you can get a smartphone, and while they did make it pretty darn thin, they also really hurt this phone in a way. This is where you had the infamous bend gate, especially in the iPhone 6 Plus, where you would apply very little pressure in a certain part of the chassis, it would bend. And you can even see here with my iPhone 6 Plus, it's got a very slight bend in it. Of course, in the corner where it's got the most damage, but... So you have a very nice display, and even by today's standards, it's really good and comparable to even what we have nowadays. I mean, obviously it's an LCD panel, so you're not going to be getting OLED colors, but it is still a pretty colorful and vibrant display. You have a 5.7-inch screen, which is actually the... No, not 5.7. Yeah, I was actually very wrong on that. It's actually 5.5 inches, which is the same as my Galaxy S7 Edge. You have a full HD 1080p screen and that beautiful Retina display that we saw on the iPhone 4S. And when you hold it up to a modern iPhone, it's still an extremely good looking screen. If you zoom in here, aside all the cracks, you can see no pixels. That is one of the things that I love about Apple. So what is it like using this phone in 2022? Obviously, this really only applies to mine and if you have a really cracked screen, but yeah, mine is pretty bad. On the front you have a 1.7 megapixel camera, and on the rear you have an 8 megapixel camera. So really, one of the main things you're going to be using this phone on is the cameras. You have the ability of recording up to 1080p 60, like I'm doing right now, and the ability to take some pretty nice shots. But unfortunately, once you go to that front-facing camera, for me, it's a different experience. Right now, it's not actually seeming too bad, to be honest, but when you get in certain conditions, it gets super glary. So here's a picture that I took with the 6 Plus, and yeah, like I said, it's 1.7 megapixels. They upped it to 5 in the iPhone 6s, I believe, but you can still take selfies with it and send it to your friends and for Snapchat. Maybe not for Instagram, because Instagram is just all about quality, I guess, now. I don't know. No optical image stabilization, from what I know. But yeah, here is your video, your 60 FPS video. I'll go ahead and smile for that beautiful camera. Oh, there goes my beautiful dogs. Your 60 FPS video. Obviously my quality is pretty tinny, and if you want to hear it more, you can go watch my Galaxy S7 Edge review, because that was recorded with this iPhone 6 Plus. I do plan on re-recording the video and re-uploading it because, for obvious reasons, and I will just go ahead and record it with my Galaxy Note 3. So, yet again, how is using this phone in 2022? Well, honestly, it's not too bad. If you can get by having to probably get a battery replacement, and maybe even a screen replacement in my case, then it's okay. I mean, it's still fast, smooth, running in and out of apps is a breeze. I do get a little stutter here and there, but it's nothing really that bad. I cannot click on anything. Good there. See, we have a little bit of a... Oh, that was just me. Clock. Maps. It takes a minute just to get into maps, but the weather is it is currently 15 degrees outside, which I didn't even know that. But for normal social media use and some slight photography, I mean, if there's something that you had to take a picture of and you have an iPhone 6 Plus, it's fine. But one of the more things that you'll probably have to do if you want to buy one of these phones is get a battery replacement. One good way to know that if you do or don't is you can go into your settings, go to battery, click battery health, and if it's above 80%, you are probably pretty good. Once it gets below 80%, you're gonna be seeing like random shuts off, it shuts off randomly, and the battery life does not last very long. As you can see, mine is at 75%, and that's why I always have to have it on a charger if I want to use it. Now let's take a look at those speakers. This was also one of the last iPhones to feature a headphone jack. Other than the iPhone SE, 6S, 6S Plus, those are the last phones to have a headphone jack. So yeah, speakers aren't really the best. It's got some nice bass to it. But that could also be just because the speaker holes are completely filled with dirt and they're all scratched up, but I do think that is kind of going to be a universal experience for this phone. So, is this phone worth it in 2022? I forgot to reverse my microphone again, but whatever. So like I said, is this phone worth it in 2022? No. You can buy way better phones for cheaper. I don't know how much this phone goes for, but I'm assuming not very much. I'd say maybe $50 to $100. I'd say go for, if you are on a really strict budget, I'd recommend going for the iPhone 7 and 7 Plus. The iPhone 7 ranging from $70 to $130, or even the iPhone 6S and 6S Plus, because that phone is still on the latest version of iOS. This one being stuck on iOS 12.4.5, I believe. Yeah, 12.4.5. So that about wraps it up for this video, guys. Hope you guys did enjoy it. If you did, make sure you guys leave a like because it really helps out the channel a lot. Make sure you guys subscribe, share with your friends, spread the word about spread the word about my channel. Thank you guys so much for watching this quick little video, and I'll see you guys in the next